Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Srikan Gurukul. Here we are with a new video along with the Vision as current affair material of the 13th and 14th November. Now let's go through it one by one, and the first topic that is regarding the POSCO Act. And now let's see what is this POSCO Act and why this is in news, because this POSCO Act has completed a decade from since it has been enacted. It was enacted in 2012, and it is a comprehensive law that enacted with objective of protecting children from a slew of sexual offences, that is like sexual assault, sexual harassment and pornography. Recently it was amended in 2019, making the punishment under the act more stringent and including the death penalty. Before it the death penalty was not included. uh, there are some key features of this act. What are this? This act, this is a child friendly, there is a child friendly mechanism that is for reporting and recording of evidence, investigations and speedy trial of offences through special courts. And the act is a gender neutral and prescribes stringent punishment graded as per the gravity of the offense, not as per the gender discrimination. So it is a gender neutral act, and it mentions the definition of the child as that is any person that is below the age of 18 years will be called child as per the POSCO Act. And there is a provision to establish a special fast track courts for speedy trial, and the implementing agency which implements the POSCO Act, that is the National Commission for Protection of the Child Acts, that is NCPCR, and its state counterparts who monitor the implementation part of this act. And there are some challenges or concerns related to the POSCO Act, and these are there are high pendency, particularly after the COVID-19, and low conviction rate, that is around 14% of this POSCO Act, and lack of exclusive special courts and special public prosecutors, procedural lapses and in investigations, and lack of victim protection and support. Several high courts they are raising issue of higher age of consent under this act. And this is it about this POSCO Act. Now let's move to the next topic, that is the General Network Access Regulation. What is this regulation? These regulations were released by recently the Central Electricity Regulatory Commission, and its main objective is to streamline regulatory frameworks for countries' power transmission. And it was this was released for promoting the concept of one nation, one grid. So the General Network Access Regulations, it seeks to do away with predetermined point-to-point transmission access to instead enable both access or drawal on the entire transmission corridor to generators and procurers. Now users at present to have pay long-term charges under point-to-point connectivity regime, and they charged for any deviation from agreed path. But now in the GNA, that means the General Network Access, that will enable them to supply from any point, and there will be a flexibility. What are those benefits of the General Network Access? It provides more flexibility because it will enable them from supply from any point, and the possibility of open access to buyers and sellers and powers in terms of scheduling, and it encourages investments in generation and transmission sectors while moving towards predominant market determined pricing structures. And it will also ensure reliable transmission access to power utilities irrespective of their power purchase contracts. There are also some concerns, and the concerns are it could potentially favor the bigger players in the sector, and the complexity and uncertainty the demand assessment, and the state discounts may find it challenging to assess the number of open access customers that may source power from outside the state. Okay, now let's move to the next topic, that is regarding the 19th India ASEAN Summit, which was recently held in Cambodia. So what is this ASEAN? ASEAN is a association of Southeast Asian Southeast Asian nations, which was established in 1967 with signing of ASEAN Declaration, that is also known as Bangkok Declaration, and the members of the ASEAN are Myanmar, Thailand, Cambodia, Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, Brunei, Vietnam, Laos and Philippines. And the main objective of this association was to accelerate economic growth, social progress and cultural development through joint endeavors among the Southeast Asian nations. Uh, and recently there was a summit, the 19th Indian ASEAN Summit, which was held in Cambodia, and it also commemorated the 30th anniversary of the Indian Asian Dialogue, and the 2022 it is being celebrated as the ASEAN Indian Friendship Year. The year 2022, that is being celebrated as the ASEAN Indian Friendship Year, and there are some key highlights of this 19th Indian ASEAN Summit. Both sides, that is the India and Asian side, they elevated ties to the comprehensive strategic partnership to focus on some specific areas. Which are those areas? There is a maritime security, projects in Indo-Pacific, cyber security and interoperability of digital financial system. And what is this comprehensive strategic partnership? It will enable cooperation in areas like energy, health, investments in Make in India, technology, climate change, etc. And India announced an additional package, an additional outlay of $5 million, that is for the ASEAN Indian Science Technology Fund. So for the ASEAN Indian Science Technology Fund, India announced an additional package of $5 million. Expedite review of the ASEAN India Trade in Goods Agreement. So there was a review of this ASEAN India Trade in Goods Agreement, and now let's see some Indian ASEAN relationship. The political relationship between India and ASEAN, it began from 1992 as a sectoral dialogue partner. So India was the India began its engagement with ASEAN as a sectoral dialogue partner and agreed to forge a strategic partnership in 2012. In 1992, it began started as a sectoral dialogue partner, but in 2012 it agreed to forge as a strategic partnership, and now the both sides they elevated ties to comprehensive strategic partnership. Okay, and in economy the both side the AITGA, that is the ASEAN India Trade in Goods Agreement, and ASEAN India Agreement for Trade in Services. Currently the two-way trade is worth about $110 billion. Cumulatives, the FDIs that dominated by the Singaporean investments from ASEAN to India, that is between 2000 to 2021, it is around $117.88 billion. And in security, there is a security cooperation through forums like ASEAN Regional Forum, ASEAN Defense Minister meeting. Okay, and in connectivity, there is India Myanmar Thailand trilateral highway, and there is also a Kaladan multimodal project. Now let's move to the next topic, that is the regarding the nanoparticles. So what are those these nanoparticles? The particles which are less than 100 nanometer in length, that is called nanoparticles. And the nanoparticles that base cancer treatment, that will help the alter drug toxicity profile with enhanced surface characteristics to deliver an optimal concentration of drugs at tumor sites. And the conventional therapies which is used in uh, cancer treatment, that face challenges in delivery of drugs and also cause unwanted side effects due to the toxic nature and higher dose of the medicines. But in the nanomaterials, then they hold the significant promise to improve disease diagnosis and treatment based on their unique features. What are those unique features? That they are higher surface to mass ratio and quantum properties, and their ability to observe and carry other compounds. Based on these unique features, they hold significant promise in order to improve the disease diagnosis and treatment. And there are so many advantages of these nanomaterials in drug delivery. What are these advantages? That it allows targeted and efficient delivery, as nanostructures are able to penetrate tissues and are easily taken up by a cell, and these will enable delivery of drugs that are poorly water soluble, and it remain in blood circulation for a long time, releasing incorporated drug in a controlled fashion. And there are also some concern related to use of the nanomaterials, and it's difficult to distinguish toxicity of drug from that of the nanoparticle and nano-based drugs that may increase the toxicity in other organs, etc. Okay, now the next topic, that is regarding the extra regional fishing. There is a report, as per the recent report, there are 392 incidents of illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing, that is called in short IUU, illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing, that were monitored in 2021 in Indian Ocean region, that is mostly in the northern Indian Ocean region, and many of them were Chinese and European Union countries fishing vessels. And the IUU, that is the illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing monitoring, it is done by the IMAC, that is the Information Management and Analysis Center, which was a nodal agency for maritime data fusion that was set up after the 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks. Okay, the IUU, that is the illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing, violates both national and international fishing regulations and undermines the global efforts to achieve sustainable fisheries. And according to the Food Agriculture Organization, that is the IUU is responsible for loss of 11 to 26 million tons of fish each year. And there are so many initiatives that is taken against the IUU. Okay, WTO agreement on fishery subsidies, it provides the harmful fishery subsidies. And there is also a Cape Town agreement and agreement on ports state measures, and India is not a signatory to both. That then the regional fisheries management such as Indian Ocean Tuna Commission, Southern Indian Ocean Fisheries Agreement under the UN clause, that is the United Nations Convention on Law of the Sea. And as per the UN clause, coastal nations are responsible for addressing IUU within their respective exclusive economic zone. and Indian Pacific Maritime Domain Awareness, that is of the Quad, and Quad is a grouping of four countries, four like-minded democratic countries, that is India, Australia, Japan and US. Okay, there are some small news. The first news, that is no money for terror conference, and it is organized, it will be organized by the Ministry of Home Affairs, that is the third ministerial no money for terror conference. These conferences aims to progress the discussion on combating terrorist financing held by the international community in the previous two conferences, that is in Paris 2018 and in Melbourne, that is in 2019, and it intends to include the discussions on technical, legal, regulatory and cooperation aspects of all facets of terrorism financing. Okay. Now the next topic, that is the Competition Act 2002. Here are some amendments to this act. Amendments were proposed to the Competition Act 2002. That is to reduction in the time limit for approval of combination to 150 days, which was currently, that is 210 days. Generally, the mergers and acquisitions, they are referred as combination in Competition Act parlance. And Competition Act 2002, it was enacted. The objective is to promote and sustain competition in markets, protect the interest of consumers and ensure freedom of trade for market participants. And it established the Competition Commission of India, okay, to eliminate the practices having adverse effect on market competition. And the next topic, that is the Green Energy Open Access Portal, and it is launched by the Indian Minister of Power and New and Renewable Energy, and the portal will allow the consumers to access green power easily through transparent and streamlined procedure. And any consumer with a connected load of 100 kilowatt or above, that can get the renewable energy through open access from the any renewable energy generating plant. And what is this open access means? That non-discriminatory access to electricity transmission and distribution system to eligible consumers, generators and state distribution companies. Recently, the Tamil Nadu government that has notified the sanctuary, that is the Kaveri South Wildlife Sanctuary, as the state's 17th wildlife sanctuary, and it was notified under the Wildlife Protection Act 1972, and it will connect the Kaveri North Wildlife Sanctuary of Tamil Nadu with the Kaveri Wildlife Sanctuary, that is neighboring of Karnataka. And it is an important elephant habitat comprising of two elephant corridors here, that is the Nandi Mangalam Ulivanda corridor and Kovai Palam Anebiddala corridor. So there are two elephant corridor named, that is Nandi Mangalam Ulivanda corridor and Kovai Palam Anebiddala corridor. And this sanctuary, that is declared for protecting, propagating or developing wildlife or its environment, and there is certain rights of the people that living in such sanctuary could be permitted. There will be relaxation for the people who are living to the local people, and it can be declared by both center and state. Now the next topic, that is a Marwadi horses, and this is a type of horses that have been recently, this is in news because for the first time it has been exported from Jodhpur to Bangladesh. And Marwadi, it is a original desert horse that breed of Marwar region of Rajasthan, and it is capable of covering long distance with good speed by virtue of the strong limbs and hooves, and it can withstand intense heat and cold and adverse climate conditions. It is genetically similar to the Kathiawadi breed of the Kathiawad, that is of Gujarat. And other Indian breeds fossils that are found in India, uh, that are Spiti, Bhutia, Manipuri, Janskari, Bhimtadi, Chumarti and Sikka. And the next topic, that is the Indian skimmer, that is a ranch of albicollis. Indian skimmer, it is seen in the huge flocks, that is during the winter at the Koringa Wildlife Sanctuary, and it is in Kakinada, that is in Andhra Pradesh, and it is found in the coastal estuaries of the western and eastern India, and Chambal River, that is an important nesting site for the Indian skimmer, and its Asian status is endangered, and the major threats to this Indian skimmer is the habitat degradation, excessive and widespread increases in disturbance and predation by covids like house crows, etc. And the next topic, that is Jaga mission or Odisha livelihood habitat mission, and it is launched by the Odisha government in partnership with the Tata Steel Foundation to implement the Jaga mission. What is this Jaga mission? It is a unique land titling project of the government of Odisha to assign land rights to eligible residents and upgrade the physical infrastructure with roads, drains, street lights, sanitation and clean water supply. And it aims in transferring the slums into livelihood habitat, its objective. And the next topic, that is the Ecologia Model Residential School. Recently, the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, it intends to build new Ecologia Model Residential School as per the criteria announced by the in Union Budget 2018-19. What is this? What is that criteria which was announced in the Union Budget? So it was decided that every block with more than 50% of the scheduled tribe population and at least 20,000 tribal persons, that will have an Ecologia Model Residential School. So there is two criteria, that is every block with more than 50% scheduled tribe population and at least 20,000 tribal persons, that will have an Ecologia Model Residential School. So what is this Ecologia Model Residential School concept? And the schools aim to provide quality upper primary, secondary and senior secondary level education to scheduled tribe students, that is from class 6 through 12th, that is in order to enable them to access best opportunity in education and bring them at par with the general population. And the next topic, that's a global dashboard for vaccine equity. And it is a joint effort by the UNDP, WHO and University of the Oxford, and it combines the latest data on the global rollout of the COVID-19 vaccine and provide insights for the policymakers on implication of the vaccine inequity for socio-economic recovery, jobs and welfare. And there is some key data, accessibility of the vaccine, that is only around 26.62% people in low income countries, and they have been vaccinated with at least one dose against the 72.8% in high income countries, and it just shows the vaccine divide in the globe. And the next topic, that is the superbrasive tools. So it is a new technology and it is developed by an IIT Madras team, which can produce a new generation of superbrasive tools for advanced grinding applications. And it is a superbrasive are a class of tools that are used in precision grinding for many industries, and such tools contain natural diamond, man-made diamond and cubic boron nitrate. So natural diamond, man-made diamond, and cubic boron nitride. And the team used the advanced chemical bonding technology, to meet high productivity and energy efficient material removal required for such tools. And the next topic, that is the LCDs. And what is LCD? It is the liquid crystal display, and recently a new easier technique of manufacturing the LCDs, that which can reduce the cost of devices. Okay, and the LCD technology, that is it is the worked the LCD technology that work uh, based on the working principle of the LCD technology, that is based on the light obstruction technology. So the working principle of the LCD technology, that is based on the light obstruction, and typically the LCD are two pieces of polarized glass which are also called substrate and a backlight. Okay, so the LCDs are made of two pieces of polarized glass, that is called the substrate and a backlight. The light created by the backlight that passes through a substrate, while the electric current also simultaneously align the liquid crystal molecules. This way, the varying degree of the light can pass through another substrate, and consequently creating the visible colors and images. It is commonly used across a range of TVs, monitors, tablets, and phone screens. Okay. The next topic, there is a megalithic burial sites of the Tirupati. The megalithic burial site of Tirupati, that is in the modern Andhra Pradesh, that in a state of neglect, and the structure pillared domain locally referred as Pandavagulu or the Pandavula Banda in memory of the Pandavas, that are around 2500 years old. About the megaliths, it is considered either as burial sites such as dolmenoid cairn circles, or commemorative non-sepulchral memorials such as menhirs. In India, megaliths are seen in peninsular South, Deccan Plateau, Vindhyas, and Northwest region. And the megalithic sites that in India are dated to period of ranging from 1300 BC to 12th century BC. And in places and news, there just here is the Bahrain. The capital of the Bahrain is the Manama, and the history link with the India, that is the region, that is a Dilmun civilization that is served as a trading center between the Mesopotamia and the Indus Valley of India. There is a political features. It is an island nation in the Middle East. Okay, and is situated in an inlet of Persian Gulf known as the Gulf of Bahrain, and in boundaries it is situated east of the Saudi Arabia and north of Qatar, and it shares maritime borders with Iran, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia. And here the form of government is constitutional monarchy, and some geographical features, that is here are some terrain. It is relatively flat topography consisting of a desert plain, and the highest point of the Bahrain, that is the Jabal ad-Dukhan, that is the mountain of the smoke, and the lowest point, that is called the Persian Gulf. And this is it for this session. If you like the videos, kindly like, share, and subscribe our channel for more such video. Thank you.